Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Having a good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Ruth Pharmacy text 304-935-500. We do the show from the Par-Mar store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar invites you out for Wally and Wimpy's night this Thursday night. Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lanes. Great food, fun, and prizes all starting at 6 o'clock. Wally and Wimpy's, of course, the premier sports publication in the state of West Virginia. You can pick those up at your local Par-Mar store. The special event this Thursday night at 6, Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lanes. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. Chevy truck season is here, ready for the truck that can handle any job. You need to get the 2024 Chevy Silverado. You can get 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or a $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. See them for all the details at Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. We're on the road to total savings, US 119 in Chapmanville. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, I got a lot of stuff I want to get to today. Delegate JB Akers is going to join us. Of course, there's an event being held tonight. If you are one of the victims of the storms of not only the 2nd of April, but also April 11th, there's going to be a community event held tonight out at Sandplant Road, and Delegate Akers is going to join us to talk about that. It's the whole idea behind this is to try to get information out to people, how you can fill out damage assessments and things of that nature. So we're going to talk to Delegate Akers about that. Also, there's a program that's going to, this is a nationwide program, but they're going to be doing an event in Charleston here in a couple of weeks, and it's called Guns to Gardens. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on as well. I do want to start with the news. We have a story posted. A domestic incident in the Shillian area has led to a man dying and a woman being hospitalized, and happened in Shillian around 1:50 this morning. Female victim stabbed, according to Kanawha County Sheriff's Department Chief Deputy Joe Crawford. And as first responders were tending to the victim, a man barricaded himself into the residence and had a gun out, threatening deputies. Well, you know, that never turns out well. The deputies shot and killed him. Now, at last report, the woman was hospitalized at CAMC General, where she was undergoing surgery. The investigation on that continues. Chris Lawrence has the story posted now, what we do know at this point, at WVMetroNews.com. Let me welcome in our good friend Millie Snyder from The Shape Show. How are you?
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you like what we're doing with the place here?
Yes, I think the boxes are beautiful.
We have a this studio is a pretty good sized studio, old television studio at one point.
Was it really?
Well, it's this was one of Ron Hughes tells me, because Ron was here, in 1921, and apparently this is
so complimentary. I can't stand it.
We're good coworkers that way. So apparently at one time this was the home of WCHS television. Now we are, not related in any form. But they're transforming this place, Miss Millie.
Into what?
For years we were West Virginia Radio Corporation. The name was changed. It's WVRC Media now, because we're multimedia from digital to.
Wow.
And so
this is impressive.
In the coming months, Millie, when you come in and you visit us once a month to do this show, you're going to be on camera, on television, because it'll be just like Talkline. If you watch Hoppy at 10:06 and you see the nice studio up in Morgantown,
that's wonderful.
We're in the process of doing that here. So it looks like
I shall only pray for a good hair day.
You always have good hair days. It kind of looks like, Chris Lawrence said, it kind of looks like a Home Depot storeroom in here right now with all these boxes we've got in here. But
don't say Home Depot. It's all from Lowe's.
Well, yeah, we can't say. I probably should have said Lowe's. But anyway, yeah. And so we got. big doings. They're redoing everything in this place, man.
Wow, that's exciting.
All the studios are changing.
I'm good. I'm happy. That's
you're going to be right here in the middle of all of it.
I love it.
All right,
Thank you.
I got to take care of one piece of business with you first.
Go ahead, do it.
All right, because I know you got a lot to cover. So I don't know if you remember the show Saturday Night Live. Of course, it's still on. Back in the 80s, Saturday Night Live did a bit when it was a parody commercial. Some of the funny stuff they do and still do is parody commercial. They did a parody commercial about all of these cereals that were promoting digestive health at that time. This was, the Totals and the, so on and so forth. Well, they did a parody commercial of a cereal that they called Colon Blow.
I know which one you're talking about.
So I got a buddy of mine who shall remain nameless. Every time you're on the show, he says, I'll give you $20 if you can have Millie Snyder say the words colon blow. I'll give you 10 of it if you say the words colon blow.
Colon blow.
There you go. It's done.
And that happened during the days of Weight Watchers when we used to count fiber. And people would find the cereal that had the highest fiber possible, and they would eat the largest amount that they could hold, and that's when we called it colon blow.
And
we're serious.
Forgetting the fact that it was loaded with sugar. So
absolutely.
So
it had
really
to be loaded with sugar.
With anything.
But when we knew someone was about to have a colon blow, we tried to keep our distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right. So there you go. I just collected $20 and I have to give you 10 of it.
Yes, you do. Thank you very much.
All right. What do you got going on?
First of all,
happy anniversary.
Yes, thank you.
48 years, right?
48 years. And I want to tell you about that day.
Yeah, go ahead.
The store was packed with people. Every table was full. We were giving out free ice cream, and we lost power.
All the days to do it. Was this on the April 2nd or the April 11th? Was this was this Tornado Day?
That was April Fool's Day, April 1st, which was the opening. Okay. So then the next day we had the tornadoes.
Okay.
So the first 2 days of that week were not very exciting, but what are you going to do? Yeah. But I thank you, by the way, you did a public service announcement for us, and we had a wonderful turnout. So, things happen. But Shape Shop is alive and well. Our food truck is getting busier and busier. People love what we are producing out on the road. But also when you come into the Shape Shop, you're eating fresh, clean food. And we also have some very unique grab and goes. So if you don't feel like cooking dinner, and a lot of people don't, they can pick up their meal, take it home, and it's, microwavable for 30 seconds, and just delicious food. And it's fresh, it's clean, and of course, sugar is not the friend. And the stuff that we make has no chemicals. Nothing is processed. And the world is beginning to pay attention. And, I have been around in this wonderful industry for a long time. But I have to throw some caution to the wind because lots and lots of people are taking all of those new diet drugs, but they're not doing the most essential thing, and that is also learning how to eat. There's no such thing as a drug fixing it all, because if you haven't learned what to do, there's going to be some unhappiness down the road. Not that I wish that on anyone. I love everyone to be successful in a healthy body, but how you get to that healthy body has to do with the hand to mouth and what you eat on a regular basis.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment based on an article that I read the other day.
Go.
I read an article the other day, Millie, that was talking about this very same thing with the popularity of all of these weight loss drugs. Maybe they're intended for other things, but one of the somebody figured out, one of the side effects is you lose weight.
Right.
Someone in the article said, hey, look, it's a start. It's a start. And that it's not as bad as everybody's making it out to be, you would say.
Okay, and my answer to that, I hope whoever authored that statement is 100% correct. But one of the things we cannot deny is you must eat, and you must learn about healthy eating if whatever happens with that drug is going to have sustainability. Because the drug itself is not an educational tool. And the educational tool is what we do. I hope who said that has more truth to that statement than not. But I've been around in this industry for a very long time, not just for my personal weight loss, but also learning and seeing what happens. I took diet pills in my younger life, and I learned nothing until I started eating. When I joined Weight Watchers, my life and my world changed. I've seen the horrors of fen-phen and Redux and other things that came along. If you haven't changed your mind about your body, you haven't made the essential changes.
I mean, all you have to do is Google on your spare time, Google these drugs and come up with, over the years, the one that was going to be the miracle drug. And many of them are not on the shelves anymore. The majority of them aren't.
Right, because there was no miracle.
For a reason. A reason. And I have a feeling that when you look at what's out there now with a lot of these, you're going to be talking about those in the same. I'm not saying that they're going to necessarily be illegal, but you are going to be talking about those in the same light in 5 to 10 years. And again, I could stand to do a whole lot better eating, just like a lot of people could. But I will say this, that in the end, no matter what drugs come out, no matter what kind of surgery there is, no matter what, any of these medical procedures, nothing beats diet and exercise. It's been that way since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
And it's going to continue to be that way. That's still the number one thing.
But people are looking for overnight quick miracles. And yesterday I had a really nice experience. I was at Kroger shopping, and this woman asked me a question where something was. I answered, and then she looked at me. She said, "Why is your voice familiar?" I said, "I don't know." Well, anyway, one word led to another, and of course she once upon a time attended Weight Watchers. What she didn't know was that Weight Watchers has changed their whole format, their whole presentation, because they're about the diet drugs also. But that's got
to be disappointing to you.
It's actually, there's a bigger word than disappointing. It's a heartbreak. And I can say that honestly because I joined Weight Watchers in Baltimore when the whole organization was 3 years old. To say that I grew up with it is not even an understatement. It's major. It helped me become the person that I dreamed about becoming in terms of health and awareness to share with others. Anyway, what this lady didn't know was there are classes to attend, and they're the ones that I created using the Mediterranean lifestyle. And we have a Thursday morning, and we have a Saturday morning, although this week we're not doing it tomorrow, we're doing it today when I leave here. But that's just this week as an exception. But the important thing is that people need each other. We need to be able to share ideas and leave with quality information. And Mediterranean living has taught me more than all the years that I was part of. I was the life of Weight Watchers, because the information is about how to take care of your health. And when you take care of your health, you're also taking care of your psychological well-being, because the changes that you make are working in your whole entire life. It's not just thin. It's about how am I getting there, and what am I doing to really and truly be able to make a difference in my life. And that's where I think Mediterranean is way years ahead of anything else. And, the group that brought it to this country is called Old Ways. And what they brought to this country was the old way of eating. And, I very jokingly say, although it's not intended to be a joke, I believe that this is the way Jesus ate, because what supermarket did he go to? He ate fresh, clean food, nothing processed, no chemicals, as well as all the people in his time of life.
See, what I thought you were going to say is, when you were talking about being at Kroger, I thought you were going to say that a woman said your voice sounds familiar, that she listened to you on the radio. That's what I thought that's really where I thought you were going with that.
Well, I told her I was going to be on radio tomorrow, which is today. So I hope she's listening.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Before we let you go, warm weather's here. You're going to be out and about.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to take our food truck to TC Energy in Kanawha City, and we were there last week in that deluge of water that came out of the sky. But tomorrow it looks like nice weather, and we have a lot of things that are planned for the food truck, and we're excited about that. But if you don't come to the food truck, come to the shop, 706 Central Avenue, and we're just a block and a half west of Five Corners.
Text says, Millie is the best. I love listening to her anytime, but especially on your show.
Thank you very much.
That's what a texter says.
I appreciate that.
All right. Millie Snyder from the Shape Shop, I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you.
I don't think the recon is going to be done by this time next month, so I think that, but by the time the fall rolls around, you're going to
I'm excited. I want to see that whole thing come to life.
You're going to be on TV.
That'll be wonderful.
You're going to be on TV.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
921, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. Back after this from the Parmar Store studio on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at omegacommercialinteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education, paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
Trump's plan to stop woke gender ideology from poisoning our kids?
We'll investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks that participate in sex transitions of minor children.
And Big Pharma's lobbyists should be held accountable too, like Pat Morrissey. As a D.C. lobbyist, Morrissey helped steer taxpayer funds to a gender transition clinic for children and got rich lobbying for a drug company peddling puberty blockers. Morrissey's family still owns the D.C. firm that lobbies for a child transition provider with a clinic in West Virginia. Pro-trans liberal lobbyist. That's Pat Morrissey. The pro-Trump conservative businessman, Chris Miller. Miller supports Trump's plan to protect our kids.
As the father of an 11-year-old girl, you're darn right. I don't want her sharing a locker room with biological males. Woke doctors are literally practicing mutilation, not medicine, and they should be in prison. I'm Chris Miller, and I'll sign that law as governor.
Paid for by Miller for Governor.
It is 9:24. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Fresh Air. They'll change those heating and cooling unit air filters for your home, your retail or industrial business, restaurant, church, whatever. They could build custom filters for you. They're also available 24 hours a day. Visit freshairfilters.us or call 304-440-1104 for Fresh Air, because everyone deserves fresh air. And a big shout out to my listeners, because I actually was talking to the owner of the company last night, and he said, yeah, we've been getting great response on this. That's what we like to hear. So go talk to the folks at Fresh Air. Little premise or an explanation about our next segment. These are some fine folks that I'm very, very happy to introduce you to. They're with a group that's called Guns to Gardens. And they have an event coming up in Charleston, and they asked for time to talk about it. Of course, you know me, Mr. Open Door. I oblige. Sarah Gottlieb, Robert Avsec, Avsec, just like it looks. Read it just like it looks, Dave. Robert Avsec and Sarah Gottlieb are here with the group Guns to Gardens, and they join me this morning in the Par Mar Store studio. Sarah, Robert, welcome to the show. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I'm going to probably have to have you come a little closer to that microphone for you there, sir. Okay, all right. So you have an event coming up May 4th here in Charleston, St. Mark's Church, 900 Washington Street East from 1 to 3. When people first hear of an event like this, they think, because when I got your email and I saw the subject line, I thought, oh boy, they think they're coming to get my guns. It is nothing like that at all. I've done some reading on the organization. It's really not about that at all, Sarah.
Correct. It's a voluntary surrender of an unwanted gun. While they watch, their gun is dismantled with a chop saw, and then blacksmiths take the gun pieces and reform them into garden tools or art or jewelry. So it's voluntary. Robert can speak to who might want to surrender a gun.
All right, Robert, go ahead.
Well, a lot of times people come into possession of firearms, and that was never really their intent. Perhaps the firearm owner has passed away. Their lifestyle has changed. Now they have children in the home, or their grandparents that are taking care of children on a regular basis. And we all know how inquisitive children can be. And unfortunately, unintentional shootings involving even 2, 3, 4-year-olds are unfortunately not uncommon in our country. Also, folks who develop mental health issues, their family may want to keep firearms from falling into their hands, and a firearm that was used in a suicide. So a lot of reasons why people they're looking for a way to get rid of the gun and know that it's not going to fall into the wrong hands, which
happens. I mean,
it can be stolen. It could be,
So these events. This one's happened in Charleston, and again, I'll give you the details on that again coming up a little bit later on. But this is a nationwide effort. Is that right?
It is. It started in Colorado about 3 years ago after a mass shooting at a King Super in Boulder, and but the concept grew. I'd like to say the concept is the idea of a Mennonite pastor named Mike Martin, and he based it on the scripture from Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4. They shall beat their swords into plowshares. So that's where he got the idea for this. And then the first Guns to Gardens event was held 3 years ago, like I said, and since then they have been held nationwide. And closer to us, there's been a Guns to Gardens events in Shepherdstown, Columbus, Cleveland, and Louisville.
So how exactly does it work the day of the event? I mean, how exactly does it work?
People will obviously come to the location, St. Mark's Church. They'll be met by greeters who will explain to them what needs to happen from that point. The greeter will then direct them to the safety station.
Say where their gun would be.
The guns need to be unloaded and in the trunk of their car.
Okay.
And so they're from.
So you don't want people just walking in with them.
Right.
Okay.
And from the point where the greeter picks them up, they'll be taken to the firearm safety station, where one of our firearm experts will ensure that the gun is in fact unloaded. We will record the serial number for the gun. Okay, and that's it. No other identifying. And what we want to do is, after the event, we want to provide that list of serial numbers to the Charleston Police Department. They can run it against perhaps any guns that have been used in a crime or have been reported stolen or whatever, and know that firearm is no longer even in the picture.
What kind of buy-in has there been from the police agencies around the country? I mean, do they, generally speaking, go along with this? I would imagine they would.
Well, the thing is, and as is the case here in Charleston, they really don't have any mechanism for someone who wanted to surrender a gun. They don't have any process. They don't have storage capacity. And really, what would they do with it after it came into their possession? So the program has had the support of local law enforcement for those reasons. That it gets firearms that nobody is really interested in having. out of circulation, off the street, so that they can't fall into the wrong hands.
So what's the process like that because the guns actually become garden utensils?
Garden tools,
I mean, so
jewelry,
what is that?
In fact, Sarah has a very nice necklace, which obviously the radio listeners can't see.
If you come back in 6 months, we'll be on television then. So.
But I have a necklace that's in the shape of a heart, but that was a gun piece.
Okay. So I'm going to be totally ignorant here because I'm the least crafty person on the face of the earth. Exactly what is the process like to make what does it take to turn anything into a necklace like?
That's a great question, but it's definitely a blacksmith skill. And so we will have blacksmiths there who will take the gun parts to their forge. Our blacksmiths will be out of Asheville, North Carolina. They're with a nonprofit group called Raw Tools, but we are hoping to have local blacksmiths interested and possibly in future events keep our gunmetal local and have it reformed here.
Is this the first time you've had an event like this in Charleston?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did you get I know it's gone on nationwide, guys, but where did you get the idea that we're going to have this in Charleston?
I heard about this program through my church. My church is Presbyterian Church USA. I belong to Village Chapel Presbyterian, and they are a supporter of this effort. And so I heard about it through there, and it just kind of clicked with me that the voluntary nature of it, and also that there were needs to surrender a gun that I was unaware of.
And they also put on a 5-week program last summer, which Sarah and I and our partner Dina Moeller participated in, and basically it was a 5-week, once a week, 1 hour over Zoom, people from all over the country learning about Guns to Garden, what the program was, how to conduct an event in your community, gave us the resources for people like Raw Tools South. To help with that, and so me and Dina, we did ours during the daytime. Sarah was at nighttime, and she had even people from Hawaii, right?
Yes,
were in your cohort.
Mm-hmm. Nashville, Minnesota, Akron, all over.
Okay. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you apart by Hudson's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad, only $20.99 at your favorite Hudson's location. I do have a couple of texts here for you that people text in, and you're always talk to you guys about answering questions. Someone asked, where do you get your funding for the organization?
We have been fundraising since December, and so we have gotten funding from 4 different churches, and the Jewish temple in town, as well as a grant and a lot of private donations. Okay. So we've ended up with about $9,000, which is what we need.
Okay. And that money is used principally to buy the grocery gift cards.
That's part of it. I don't even know if we've even mentioned that.
We haven't yet.
When people bring these items out, they're not going to walk away with nothing, right?
That's correct. Once they see that their firearm has been dismantled by the chop saw operator, then they will receive grocery gift cards in an amount that varies depending on the type of firearm that was surrendered. So, for instance, a handgun, a normal handgun, would get $150 in gift cards. Mm-hmm. An assault kind of AR-15 rifle would be $200.
Why the difference in the price?
Just the difference in how much work has to go into.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that.
Into
mm-hmm. a lot more moving parts, I guess.
A lot more moving parts, and also the fact that obviously if we could get some of those AR-15s off the street, perhaps we wouldn't see them in the news so often.
Because, I'm not anti-gun by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't think that a lot of people within your organization
I grew up in a family of hunters and with guns in my household, and I understand that a lot of people use guns for sport and gun collecting and value that too. And this is an event for people who, again, own a gun that it's bringing them worry, it's associated with grief, and they just are uncomfortable with it in their home.
Tell them the story about the lady that just found a gun in her home.
Just this week, I was presenting this program to a group, and a woman came up to me afterwards, said that her husband had died 17 years ago. He was a gun owner, owner, and she had dispersed his guns to her sons. But just last week, or about 2 weeks ago, her son found 2 more guns in her house that all this time she didn't know they were there. And so anyway, she was talking about coming to the event.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So now when people surrender the guns, and again, it's all voluntary, but you don't take the ammo. Well, now why is that?
Well, because number one, you can't cut up ammo.
Okay. All right. Logistics, Dave.
Logistics. You can't cut up ammo, and there really is no way for us to disperse of it.
Okay.
It would be a good thing to work with city police on that. Would they take the ammo? Would they accept the ammo?
Yeah. And see, the other thing to keep in mind is this is a safe surrender event. Okay, we never take ownership of the gun,
right?
Which is why this process takes them from we greet them when they arrive on the property, we escort them through the process, they see their firearm being destroyed, and then they get their gift cards, and then they can leave, or we'll have pastoral care available. Perhaps somebody did surrender a firearm because it was used in a suicide, and obviously that would have deep meaning to that person, and they may need somebody to talk to at the moment.
Makes sense.
But the key point is we never take possession of the gun.
Okay. Last text here before we let you go, then we'll give the information about the event again. It says, rakes, hose, mattocks, wouldn't it make more sense to sell the gun to a gun shop or give it to a family member? Guns to Garden seems like a way to guilt people into giving up their guns and possibly rat them out to Charleston cops.
First of all, we are not going to rat anybody out. As I mentioned, the only thing that we are going to collect about the firearm, because that is how the program is set up nationwide, is serial numbers. And yes, people can distribute firearms however they choose. As Sarah just mentioned, that lady, dispersed her husband's firearms to their sons. Mm-hmm. Okay? Other people may not have that mechanism. They suddenly a spouse passes away, and suddenly they realize, hey, I'm now the owner of 2 handguns and a shotgun, and I don't want them in my house.
And to sell them can leave you unsure about where they end up. Eventually, this is an assurance that
for some people, I think
it's not a functional gun any longer.
It could be closure. I mean, for some people as well.
Healing.
People typically sometimes will personify things too. Like if you said it was used in a suicide or maybe a murder or something like that, and I can't sleep at night knowing that is out there. I know that may seem silly to some people, but until you've gone through it, you may not realize that I want to know that is gone. So, final text says, what a great idea. Thanks so much for the Guns to Gardens people. Suicides by guns among young adults is on the increase. We'll leave it there. Give us the information where the event is and where people can learn more.
Guns to Gardens, May 4th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon at St. Mark's United Methodist Church parking lot. It is on 900 Washington Street East near the post office.
All right, you guys, I appreciate you being here. Sarah and Robert, thanks so much. Wish you best of luck with your event. Thanks a lot. Come back anytime.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Yeah. Hang out with me here 1 second. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds hosting a home run derby at Go-Mart Ballpark this Saturday. Gates open at 5:30. The home run derby starts at 6:30. Members of the Dirty Birds team will be matched up with local community members. Details coming up later on in the week. Tickets on sale now. DirtyBirdsBaseball.com. Kids 12 and under get in for free. Delegate JB Akers is up next. We're back after this from the Par-Mar Store studio on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Family businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
We need real conservatives in the House of Delegates. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
Hi, I am Mark Carter. As a conservative lawyer, I am a strong supporter of life, faith, and the Second Amendment.
Mark Carter was appointed to national offices by both President Donald Trump and President George W. Bush. Let's elect a new conservative Republican to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
We are professional grade. If you're up for the challenge, then you need to visit Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile and get treated like a pro with the best deals on new GMC Sierra trucks and the new 2024 GMC Terrain. Go pro, but don't prolong. Qualified buyers can enjoy 3.9% for 60 months or an additional purchase allowance of up to $2,250 and no payments for 90 days. Get on the move. Go pro with Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville, and ThornhillGMSuperstore.com. After GM Financial, visit Thornhill for all details.
The Husson's Pizza April Special. Get a largest large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for just $20.99. Visit your nearest Husson's for dine-in pickup or delivery. Order now at HussonsPizza.com.
Life is full of challenges. Finding out your teenage daughter got a full-arm tattoo, or your next-door neighbor took up the drums. One challenge you shouldn't face, being delinquent with your property taxes. The Kanawha County Sheriff's Department reminds you that the deadline is May 1st. After May 1st, you'll pay penalties and pay to have your name published in a big newspaper ad, so everyone will know. Talk about a challenge. Go online to kanawsheriff.us before May 1st and pay your taxes. kanawsheriff.us.
Award-winning news, even on weekends. 580 WCHS brings you live news updates from our trusted newsroom. Stay connected to the stories that matter, even on Saturdays and Sundays. When news breaks, we're there to keep you informed. Trust the WCHS newsroom.
19 away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, you may want to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. A couple of texts here. Text says, and he who has no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. Luke 22:36-38. Text says, I admire the attempt, but how many criminals with stolen or illegal guns are going to turn those in? Says a texter. It's been a rough month weather-wise here in the Kanawha Valley. Tornadoes April 2nd, widespread flash flooding that took place last Thursday. People are still cleaning up. Tonight at 7, there's going to be an event held at the Washington District Community Center. That's at 1313 Sandplant Road in South Charleston. It's designed to get information out to the people, to make official storm damage reports, and to collect other vital information about relief and recovery. Delegate JB Akers is here this morning to bring attention to this evening's event. Delegate, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. It's good to see you again.
What a month, or better yet, what a couple of days of weather. April 2nd, April 11th here, man.
Yeah, it was essentially just kind of 2 weeks in a row. We got hit twice, and I think some people got damaged, wind and water probably both times, but a lot of folks, it was two different types of damage, and it's going to be two different scenarios in terms of what kind of relief you can get and what kind of claims you can make and what help is out there. So first of all, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you all are, especially during political season.
A little bit.
Yeah, so this is not a political appearance by me. I am in the legislature, but this is part of my job. As a legislator, you're supposed to do these things. This is part of my work. So today is just to talk about this event. You gave the time and place. We'll say it again here in a little bit. Okay. This is going to be down in the southern part of the county, which we did it that way on purpose. That is in my district, but that part of the county, sections of it got hit, pretty hard. I think the folks down the southern part of the county sometimes think they maybe are forgotten a little bit, so we're trying to draw some attention to them. But also, this is a fairly new community center that the city of South Charleston actually built. It's a really nice facility, trying to highlight it as well. South Charleston, if you look at the map of South Charleston, it's kind of crazy on a map.
It is.
It runs, part of it runs straight down Corridor G, almost to Lincoln County. This community center is in the southern part of South Charleston. And Mayor Frank Mullins right away immediately said, hey, we're going to let you guys use this. Special thanks to him. Laura Marker is the city council person for Ward 4, which covers that area. She's been super helpful, and she is very involved in that community. So the city of South Charleston deserves some credit for letting us be there. And this started last week. I know you have limited time, so I'm trying to cut right to it. This started last week. I've been involved in some disaster recovery efforts before, and one of the things that I've seen in the past is when this happens, a lot of folks don't know where to even start. They don't know who to call. They don't know what resources are available, if any. They don't even know who to contact. And they really a lot of folks just go online and they'll Google, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so which is not what you want to do. It's like going to, WebMD if you have a medical issue. Right. So the thought I had was, having seen this in person before, folks not knowing what information there is or who to even talk to, I thought, let's try to bring as many people with knowledge into the room as possible and make it, I've been calling this a one-stop shop. So, and again, all these folks deserve credit. I talked to Brian Abraham at the governor's office immediately right away. Brian said, we'll have somebody there, maybe even him. I'm not sure who can show up. They're all busy folks. Maybe somebody from the emergency management division from the state. County folks, C.W. Sigmund from the County Emergency Management Services, he'll be there. The county commission fully on board with this. Commissioners Salengo, Carper, and Wheeler all supportive. We're going to have, I think Joey Crawford, the chief deputy from the sheriff's department, is going to be there. We're going to have some disaster relief organizations there. American Red Cross, Erica Manny, super helpful. Margaret O'Neill from United Way here in Central West Virginia, she's on board, and I think she may be there on behalf of a couple organizations like West Virginia 211 also. So we're going to introduce all those folks. I called all of them and started emailing them last week. I will take credit for the idea. I'll do that as a politician. But the hard work is being done by them. Okay, that's the heavy lifting. And all of them immediately said yes. So thank you to them. So they're going to be there. I will introduce all of them is the plan. And then they're going to tell folks just quickly what their role is, what people can do. Like Mr. Sigmund will explain that the county has these surveys. They're called 1, 2, 3 surveys. And if you suffered storm damage, step one is to fill out those storm damage surveys, and we'll explain that process tonight. If you're a listener and you can't be there, it's a 1, 2, 3 survey. It's online. The reason why that's so important is, number one, if you qualify for assistance, that might be a step towards getting it for you. But it also gives us a cumulative picture of how much damage was done to our area. And it's a double-edged sword. We don't want there to be a huge amount of damage, but once you do cross a threshold, that qualifies you for more assistance, for example, from FEMA. And we'll have people there tonight to talk about whether FEMA is going to get involved in this. And I know the state is working extremely hard to get FEMA involved, but you have to have a certain amount of damage before you meet their criteria. So in order to meet their criteria, we need everyone to report. And I want to stress as well, even though this is going to be, and this would be a drive for some people, I mean, wherever you have in the county, it's going to be, somewhat inconvenient for somebody.
Big county.
It is, right. So if you live up near the Clay County line, north of Elkview, this would be a drive for you. I understand. But we also know there were folks like out in Tornado, appropriately enough, who suffered a lot of damage at Smith Creek area. We know there were people out in Winifred, that area, the eastern part of the county, who suffered damage, especially from the wind. So we tried to make it somewhat centralized, at least for that southern part, as best we could. Anyone is invited.
Yeah, okay.
I want to stress.
I was going to say that, Jay, because it is going to be held out at the facility out at Sandplant.
Yes.
But if you're on the complete other end, on the Putnam County line, and you suffer damage, as long as you're this is open to anybody, not just people in that area.
Well, it's if you live across the line in Lincoln County, you can come to this. Anybody is welcome. Now, we will have on the county level, there will only be Kanawha County representatives.
Okay.
But I'm sure they can answer questions for anybody that's helpful. And we'll have people, again, from the state there and the disaster relief organizations. They can answer anyone's questions. We're going to help anybody who needs it. So, again, it'll be Kanawha County-centric. Anybody's welcome. If you live anywhere in Kanawha County, and this is the thing, if this one is successful, and Dave, I have no idea. There could be 10 people there tonight. There could be 100. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope there's more people there who need help than there are people from the state and county and legislature there. But if this is successful, I think, or part of what I hope happens is it will spur this to be something we can do in other places as well. Because what we want to do is, or my goal here is to bring the resources to you, not make you have to hunt for what you need to get help, especially in a time like this. And floods, I'm sure you've seen this, a flood can be worse than a fire. I mean, if your home has been flooded, that can be the worst type of recovery.
Sure, yeah.
There are people out there probably today who are still taking off work or time away from family to try to patch up their home just to live in it. So we want to bring the help to you, make it as convenient as possible in what we know is an inconvenient situation, but just bring it to you and make this process as easy as possible in what we know is a tough situation.
But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please shop locally. Stop by any of their locations. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. Before we let you go, and we'll hit the time and place and everything again for this event tonight, JB, I got to quickly ask you about a minute or so. How are things in legislature going? I know we just had some committee meetings over the last couple of days. Governor is going to reconvene next month. Your thoughts, anything that you'd like to see on the call for next month? Just I'll leave the time up to you.
Well, next month will be a big meeting. That's where we're going to address budget issues, obviously. So a lot will be on the agenda there. A lot of that's publicized. Some of that's going to revolve around, for example, the waiver program for folks who have disabilities, and that's going to be a big discussion. Needs to be addressed. We're hearing competing thoughts on that, so that's a big deal. There's child care issues, I think, in this state we need to address. That's a priority for me personally, and I think a lot of other legislators. The interims we had this week were really just more informational, but really, really good. I tell you, I would encourage members of the public to check out our interim schedule and come to some of those meetings. We have people talking about things like I went to a flood committee meeting, for example. I'm not on that committee, but I went to one. Super informative for anybody. So that's what this week was. Next week will be the one that gets a lot more, or next month will be the one that gets a lot more attention. So quickly, to tell you the address again, because you're short on time. Tonight, anyone and everyone is welcome. If you didn't suffer damage but know someone who did and you can help them, please be there. This will be at the Washington District Community Center, 1313 Sandplant Road, South Charleston. 25309 is the zip. Starts at 7 p.m. I would encourage everybody to be there. You'll get information on what help's available, what we can do for you, who to turn to. Again, it's a one-stop shop. We're trying to make this as easy as possible on folks, and we need you to show up because I think we can probably do this again later if we have good turnout.
All right, JB, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks for letting us come on and talk about this.
Delegate JB Akers, it's 9:51. You know, the impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. The inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia, enriched in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
It is your time to shine, calling all athletes 50 years and older. This is Jim Strawn with the West Virginia Senior Sports Classic. It is back. The 30th annual West Virginia Senior Sports Classic is set for June at various venues around the Kanawha Valley. Basketball, track and field, volleyball, bowling, billiards, pickleball, and more. Register at WVSSC.com. You may qualify for the National Senior Games in Des Moines, Iowa next summer.
9:53 phone calls to the Dave Allen Show, service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly, texting service provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy West Virginia tackles pressing health issues. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians, aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond West Virginia. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com. Under the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Text says, going back to the Guns to Gardens event, maybe I'll go buy some Biggly Piggly Wiggly gift cards or a receipt book and head to Washington Street East and outbid them. Don't think that's the way it works. Text says, going back to that day, their donation amounts would cover my gun collection, nor a lot of West Virginia. sell them. Don't give them away, people. By the way, to your guest, an AR-15 is not an assault weapon, says a texter. This one came in after JB had already left, but I did ask him this. He said, ask JB why the state will not help with infrastructure and stream cleanup after a flood did not get help from the state on Campbell's Creek. County bent over backwards for us. JB was on his way out the door to a meeting, but I did mention that to him. He said that they do hope to discuss some of these things tonight. And the next time he's on the show, he said he would discuss that in detail. If you haven't already done so, make sure you download the all-new Metro News TV app. It's a great way to enjoy your favorite Metro News programs like Talkline, Sportsline, Three Guys, and more. For Apple TV, iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon, and more. Metro News for your eyes and ears with the Metro News TV app. Coming up at Hoppy, on Hoppy, that is, at 10:06, of course, more on the fallout on this federal appeals court ruling that the West Virginia law banning transgender athletes from participating in girls' athletics events violated the rights of a student athlete. This is a case out of Harrison County. Big news on that yesterday. The story is making the news nationally, and it does have national repercussions. Now, when the law was passed, most legal experts said that it wouldn't stand, and it didn't. But it's not over yet. And if you heard Brad's take on this, which I thought was really, really good, he's saying, well, they're not throwing this out. They're basically saying we just don't have enough at this point. And that's why it was overturned. Attorney General and Republican candidate for governor Patrick Morrisey is set to join Hoppy at the top of the show to discuss that. Also on the show this morning, Jeff Jenkins is going to have an update on the 14-year-old charged in connection with the North Charleston tobacco store murder. Brad on the show to discuss, Brad McElhenney, to discuss the finance reports for the candidates for U.S. Senate. And more on the Ty Hunt story. Kenny Bass from Eyewitness News will be stopping by to talk to Hoppy about that. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News is on. Talkline with Hoppy Kirchhoff from the Encova Insurance Studios in the Dale Miller Building in Morgantown. Biggly Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. And Fruth Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Coming up on this show tomorrow, two sports-related items. One has to do with pickleball. The other with all high school sports here in the Valley. There are some folks that aren't too happy with some of the reclassifications of some sports teams by the West Virginia SSAC. One of those is from Nitro High. His name is Garrett Burdett. He's going to join us on the show tomorrow. Plus, we have someone from the group Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse on the show tomorrow with one of the coolest names ever, Pepper Pena. Pepper Pena from Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse will be on the show tomorrow. In the interest of time, I didn't get a lot of time yesterday to spend on this, and that is the investigation that is now officially wrapped up into the situation involving former Charleston Police Chief Ty Hunt for alleged sexual misconduct. One of the ladies making the accusation spoke about it and voiced her displeasure with her words, quite frankly, some of the words of city council folks too. The lack of transparency or simply informing the public as to exactly what the punishment was for former police chief Ty Hunt. Now, we do know that he was demoted a couple of ranks and was suspended for an indefinite amount of time. Councilwoman Shannon Snodgrass, who's been on this show numerous times, always welcome to come back anytime, as well as former Mayor Danny Jones, were on with Hoppy yesterday separately. They were on the show yesterday. I urge you, if you haven't heard it, to go back and listen to that show. And also, by the way, you may want to check out Hoppy's commentary. That's available on the website and on our social media platforms as well. Both Councilwoman Snodgrass and former Mayor Jones were on with Hoppy talking about it yesterday. The mayor's office and the city, of course, saying that it's pretty much a personnel matter. But many people are asking for a little bit more information to come out about it. And some of those are on council, some of those are in the media, some of those are in public. Again, it's going to be discussed this morning more on Hoppy coming up at 10 o'clock, or just that'll actually be throughout the show. And I would say this, that short of a court order, I think we got what we're going to get out of the investigation to Ty Hunt. That is my opinion. this morning. Text says, never thought I'd hear so many snowflakes crying about people choosing to part with their guns. Nah, just kidding. Anti-choice people cry about anything that goes against their views. That'll be the final text of the day. Hoppy Kurtzwell coming up at 10:06 with Talk Line. My producer was Ryan Nicholson. Thank you so much. Talking a little sports tomorrow on the show, just a tad bit, plus Pepper Pena from the Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse on the show coming up tomorrow. I will see you then. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Till tomorrow, have fun and love somebody.
On 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.